Hello everyone, Mr. Nacho here, and today I wanted to share with you my very last build before the DLC comes out. This time I decided to go with the support route. The build looks like this. The primary archetype is Medic with the healing shield, and the secondary archetype is the Alchemist with the Vial Elixir of Life. When it comes to the armor, we have the Leto Mark II helmet, Leto Mark II armor, Academic's trousers, and the Bruiser's gloves. This is not the most optimal armor setup, but it's very close. We are getting 53.4 damage reduction. You could get a little bit more, but with this one it just looks kind of decent, and I actually just like how it looks, so I just stuck with it. Whenever it comes to the relic, I'm using the Blooming Heart with the 15% health, 20% healing effectiveness, and 25% revive speed. The nice thing about the Blooming Heart is that whenever you use it, you get healed for almost 60% of your max health over 5 seconds. And on top of that, you spawn 3 more healing orbs, which grant the exact same healing whenever you pick them up. So you can either pick them up and heal your allies through the Burden of the Divine and the Medic trait, or you could just let the allies pick them up and they will get healed by the percentage of your max HP. So they will get roughly, since we have a little bit over 200 HP, and this would be 60%, almost 60% of our max HP, they would get healed for about 120 HP over 5 seconds. Mostly players will just go with flat HP and they will put some points into Vigor, which will increase their health by 30, so they would have 130 HP. So basically every single time they pick up an orb, which you spawn free every single time you use the relic, they would get fully healed. And you have 10 relics, and since you have the prime archetype Medic, you have the ability Regenerator, so after restoring 250 total health to allies, you regain a spent relic charge, and you have plenty of ways to regenerate HP for your allies, both passively and actively, so you will have 10, maybe 9 relics all of the time. You won't have to really think about it too much. When it comes to the main weapon, we are using the Chicago Typewriter with the corrosive rounds and twisting wounds. I think that the Blackmo AR-47 or the Bone Saw would work just as fine. It's just personal preference. The way that we build it is that the mod is corrosive rounds simply because whenever you apply corrosive rounds to something, it takes 10% more damage from all sources. So you just basically soften up the enemy so that your allies can deal more damage. Then we have twisting wounds as well, so we apply bleeding, which has 2 main effects. First of all, bleeding reduces any healing that the enemy has, so whenever they are like the empathy or regenerator, they will just have their healing cut in half. And the other thing is you enable every single one of your allies that are running DPS to have the abrasive whetstone for free, absolutely for free. We also apply the overloaded status effect with our Enigma, so there are 3 status effects that we apply. Your allies can also just run the Ahane crystal for free and they will have 15% increased damage as well. This is an insane amount of damage simply because it's multiplicative and not additive. Even though you are not dealing way too much damage yourself, you are allowing your allies to deal even more damage with very low investment. When it comes to our melee weapon, we went with the Red Doe staff simply because it has an ability to heal your allies for 10% of max HP, and we use latency on it so that we can have our ability faster and we can use it more often. You can even stack this by destroying boxes or anything that can be destroyed really, so you can prepare for it before the fight and then just use it as the last ditch effort. If you are out of anything else, you can just try to heal allies with this. When it comes to our jewelry, we'll start with the amulet. We are running Nimiwe's ribbon, which increases healing effectiveness from our relic by 50%, and activating a relic grants us haste for 25 seconds. We basically want to use the relic kinda often since we will be healing all of our allies and ourselves as well, so we will have permanent haste for free. And the 50% increased healing effectiveness is incredibly nice since we will be healing our allies and ourselves even more. And the last thing about the weapons, we are using the Spirit Healer mutator on the Enigma since it basically gives us 5% health over 5 seconds for every 300 mod power spent. And the single charge of the mod for Enigma costs 450, so we will be triggering it every single time, and the Enigma is capable of holding 7 chaos drivers, so you can activate your mod 7 times before it runs out, so it will be 7 times 5% of your health over 5 seconds, so this is 35% HP that will stack with you and your allies, and on top of that, allies within 15 meters are healed for 50% of the primary effect, and they are also healed by additional 50% of the effect by the Burden of the Divine, so they will basically just have the full effect of your 5% HP ticking and healing them passively just because you used the mod on Enigma. This is a very good way to give them some passive healing, not necessarily great against big hits whenever you just want to use your relic, healing shield, or the elixir of life. When it comes to the rest of the rings, we already mentioned the Burden of the Divine. The next one is Celerity Stone. The reason why it's so important, it increases consumable and relic use speed by 20%. So this actually double dips with itself because the relic is both a consumable and a relic. So this actually increases our relic use speed by 40%. This is much more than, let's say, Fey Shaman Ring, even though it provides us with some HP regeneration, the passive one, but it only increases our relic use speed by 25%. So this is almost just half of what the Celerity Stone gives us. This is actually another decision that you can make, depends on what you prefer. I would highly recommend going with the Celerity Stone simply because it's faster. The next ring that we are using is a Seal of the Empress, which increases our max health by 20, and this is what allows us to get to the 200 HP threshold. And the last ring is the Blessed Ring. After receiving a benefit from a relic, gains 2 stacks of Bulwark for 30 seconds. When it comes to the traits, we are using Triage and Potency simply because they come with the archetypes. We also have Regrowth, Fortify, Vigor to be able to heal more and have more HP in general. Then we have Expertise to reduce the skill cooldown. Revivalist, so we can pick up and be picked up faster whenever we go down. Then we have Glutton, so we can use our consumables even faster. This includes the relic, so this is 30% on top of the 40% that we already have from the Celerity Stone. And the last one is Amplitude, which increases our AoE size by 45%. So that would be all for the introduction. I have some clips that I'd like to show you. I hope that you will enjoy them, and see you all in the DLC.